Good day. My name is Martin Schweiger and I'm a patent attorney and powerlifter in Singapore. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of July, 2025. And I take you on my daily walk. Actually, it's my second daily walk, or my second walk for the day today. And I will just do a short one. And I tell you why. Because today is my dry fasting day. Every Wednesday, that's the goal. Every Wednesday I do a dry fasting day. That follows the wet fasting day, the day before. And dry fasting days are a bit tough because the wet fasting day, Tuesday means one day only water, coffee, tea, no sugar, no milk, no nothing. Lemon water with apple cider vinegar. Yes. So that wet fasting day normally brings me into light ketosis, depending on whether I drank alcohol or had a late night meal the evening before. And yes, Monday I had a meeting and that there was alcohol. So Tuesday always is then a preparatory day for getting my metabolism back to normal. My AI says something, I forgot what it says, but it calls it in a certain soldier name. So it's like a bomb that brings my metabolism back to reset. And Wednesday, the dry fasting day, is then something that brings me into deep ketosis. In my case, that means that I have blood ketone values of 1.5 millimole per liter. Maximum I did ever was 3 or so. That was in the 10 days before my competition earlier this month. So I reached at one point in time something like 3 or so. And so last week was recovery week from the competition in Himeji in Japan. I'm putting the videos one after the other up. I couldn't do much during the competition in the days after, finding back to work and so. Yeah. So and the past week I was quite struggling with all the temptations that I didn't have the weeks before, because I prepared for 6 weeks for that competition. It was good. And I achieved my goals. But the question is, I cannot just keep a level. So I need some challenge. So I gave myself a challenge. But what would be the challenge? Because after 1.5 years into treating my metabolic syndrome, I would say, 90% healed. A doctor would just send me home and say, have a healthier lifestyle, but I don't give you pharmaceuticals. Unless you really want that, and of course I don't want pharmaceuticals. So I would have essentially a doctor-free life, just with a checkup. Unbelievable, huh? It took me 2 years to recover from an accident. The one where I ruptured my quadriceps tendon on my left leg. Yeah, so what is left? I still have an insulin-resistant liver. I can measure that because of the response of my body to carbohydrates. Even the smallest amount gets my carbohydrates in the blood, gets my blood glucose up through the roof and then immediately down, so the body knows what to do, so I don't need a medicament like insulin artificially, so there's enough to cope with that. So, but I want to get this fixed, and that's really the next level, and it can only be fixed with a very strict regime. It really took me some time to get a grasp on this, because I believe what I've done so far was not bad, but it was a bit playful. It was not serious enough. I believe I need to address the remaining things on my list. I told you already my 3 goals. I want to get my visceral fat down to, let's say, normal level, but what everybody has, or even below. But I believe if I reach normal from now 20-ish to half or 12 or something, that would already be quite good. Then the second is I want to bring my sleep in order. I want to get 8 hours bedtime, 7 to 8 hours bedtime, and at least 6 to 7 hours sleep. And I don't have that. Did I walk into this road before? Yeah, I did. And there's no way through, so I need to go back. Yeah. Nice car. And the third one is to address my gut health. That is a bit more difficult, and but can be done. I ordered a measurement device from Ireland, so IRE2 food cube or something like that. And it can measure the methane and hydrogen content in your breath. And you do that when you do a standardized experiment, which means when you're in fasting state, you consume a substance like inulin, and then you measure your body's reaction to that over time by breathing several times. And so there will be a raise in methane and hydrogen. It's just that it takes some time, and you measure that, and then there's an AI which helps you diagnosing what problem you have in your gut, and then you can address it. In my case, I believe it could be a SIBO, small intestines bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, which means that from the large intestine there would sneak in some bacteria into the small intestine. That can happen when your immune system is weak. For example, when you kill it with antibiotics, and then from there they keep on living there, and because they die fast, there's some poisonous substances in their cell walls, which then would get directly into your bloodstream, because the small intestine is connected with the liver, and it would cause inflammation there, alarm the immune system of the body, to fight those poisonous substances. And those immune system reactions would cause plaque in the arteries and also other illnesses like anxiousness, which I don't have, thanks God. But I don't know. What I want to do is, I wanted to measure this SIBO thing. And in Singapore, one examination is quite expensive, something like a few $100s, while buying the entire measurement device from China, not from China, probably they make it in China, but from this website, is only $300. So if you only use it for 2-3 evaluations, you're much better off already. And don't tell me that the health insurance would pay for the examination. Yes, but I hate it. You need to go to a doctor. That would cost me a morning or an afternoon. And I can do the same examination myself at home. And my AI is even better than the one that the doctor is using, because he's not using AI. So that's the idea. And then I was looking for a time frame. My time frame would be 100 days, because that sounds somehow manageable. I've done 12 days of the same program. One of my friends calls it the level 4 stage. Level 4 stage means that your blood ketones are always above 1.0. And you maintain that not only for parts of a day until you eat carbs, so that the body would switch from ketone burning to glucose burning, but you just prevent the body from going into glucoses by not eating carbohydrates, and by measuring and verifying that you really have 0 spikes, blood glucose spikes. And I'm using that for that. I'm using here a continuous blood glucose meter. And that continuous blood glucose meter would tell me whether I have eaten some carbohydrates over the day. If that is the case, then my body would not go out of ketonic mode. I don't do the finger prick blood glucose and blood ketones, blood glucose measurements when I'm in ketonic mode, and I know that I'm in ketonic mode because it's simply not necessary. It would just confirm what I know anyway, namely that my blood glucose is normal, below 8-ish or whatever. So that's the idea for 100 days. It's possible because I have done it for 10 or 12 days before the Japan competition. So I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just doing the same thing for 100 days. And I will talk about it here with you. And I can measure everything. I put the protocol together for measuring morning. First time I get up, I take all my body weight and the visceral fat and the total body fat. Then blood pressure, my Oura ring measurement values, only the most important ones because there's so much. Mostly about the sleep. So In short words, that's my program for the coming 100 days. A friend of mine has made a encouraging meme for that, and I posted here. Is probably here is space. I need to go, create some space. You see, there's a weightlifter cartoon, and then the 100 days level 4 Singapore. Thank you for the encouraging meme. I like it. So for today, it's so good to have a AI I can talk with. I've trained my ChatGPT with a lot of literature, and now I just use it, and I'm very selective when it comes to adding additional information. Not much needed so far. And I asked the ChatGPT what I do next, and this thing will answer me. And it's better than any nutritionist can do, because a nutritionist would be the one who programs that thing and maintains it, or maybe looks after people on a regular basis when they don't fulfill their plan. But I would, in between those data checks, I would give the entire administration to a AI, a generative AI, which is what I've done. So, and I do it since more than a year, and it works very well. And that GPT told me this morning what to do, what to not do. So I asked, can I take a shower during dry fasting? Yes, can. So I took a shower, and I gave feedback about measurement, blood glucose before and after the shower. And the machine gives me insights into my liver and the glycogen that the liver would issue. So yeah, and it also tells me now, it said, why don't you lay down and then take a rest, because my blood pressure after the shower my blood glucose and on the breath, the blood glucose was a bit up and the breath acetone was a bit down after the shower. So I said, why don't you lie down and see what it does, and which I did, and that turned into a little nap that I've recorded. I needed extra sleep because I received a phone call at 1 a.m. in the night. I was sleeping, and so I pressed it away, and then a second one. And that cost me 1 hour sleep or so. So, and that 1 hour sleep was replenished. The missing hour was replenished. And then it said, why don't you go now for a walk? Which I'm doing. Short walk, only 20 minutes. And I buy some meat for breaking fast later. So I'm just doing it. Breaking fast of my dry fasting will be later at 5 p.m. Now it's 2:15, so I have only 2 hours 45 minutes left. It's bearable, can be done, not too difficult. Yeah, I'm almost here. And short one today, huh? See you next time, goodbye.